How did people survive without doctors? Imagine living in a world with no modern medicine. Your tooth is killing you, but there are no dentists anywhere. No antibiotics to fight infection. No painkillers to ease your suffering. No hospitals to save your life. So how did ancient people even survive? Today, we're diving into the most brutal ancient medical methods that will shock you. Warning, this is going to be intense. But first, smash that subscribe button for more mind-blowing history. Let's start with something we all fear. Tooth pain. Picture this. You're an ancient Egyptian, and your tooth is throbbing with agony. What did they do? They pulled teeth out with a hammer and chisel. One person would hold you down while another literally hammered the tooth out of your skull. There was no anesthesia, no numbing. You just had to endure the excruciating pain, or pass out. But wait, it gets worse. The Romans took it to another level. They burned tooth nerves with red-hot iron. Imagine a glowing piece of metal approaching your open mouth, smoke rising. Well, at least the tooth definitely stopped hurting after that. Here's the terrifying part. 50% of people died from infected tooth extractions. Now, let's talk about surgery without anesthesia. Ancient Egyptians were surprisingly advanced. They could perform skull trepanation. That's right. They would drill holes directly into people's skulls. This was their treatment for headaches, mental illness, and brain injuries. The patient's only comfort? A wooden stick to bite down on. Imagine lying there, biting that stick, tears streaming down your face, screaming in agony. These surgeries took 2 to 3 hours to complete. Hours of unimaginable torture, with primitive tools scraping against your skull. Yet amazingly, many people survived. Archaeologists have found ancient skulls with perfectly healed holes. Some people had multiple holes in their heads, like human Swiss cheese. Limb amputation was routine treatment for gangrene and severe injuries. First, they'd give the patient opium or massive amounts of alcohol. You'd drink until you could barely stand, your vision blurry and spinning. Then they'd tie you tightly to a wooden table so you couldn't move. The surgeon would use a regular carpenter's saw to cut through your bone. Just imagine the sound of sawing, back and forth, through human bone. The entire amputation process took only 10 minutes. Then they'd seal the wound with a red-hot iron to stop the bleeding. Smoke and sparks would fly as your flesh sizzled and burned. The survival rate? Only 3 to 4 out of every 10 patients lived. Most died within days from shock or deadly infections. But perhaps the most dangerous procedure of all was childbirth. 1 in 3 women died giving birth. Imagine those odds. Women gave birth standing up or squatting. No comfortable hospital beds. Midwives relied on herbs and desperate prayers to keep mothers alive. When complications arose, they performed cesarean sections, but the mother almost always died. Fun fact, it was named after Julius Caesar, who was supposedly born this way. Caesar's mother actually survived, which was incredibly rare. Most cesarean sections were performed on mothers who had already died, desperately trying to save the baby. Wealthy women would hire sin-eaters before giving birth, people who would literally eat their sins if they died. Now get ready for the most insane treatment methods you've ever heard. Got a headache? They'd attach leeches to your temples. Picture your head covered in slimy, blood-sucking worms. But here's the crazy part. For all diseases, they used bloodletting. They believed cutting your veins would release bad blood and cure anything. This is actually how George Washington died. His doctors drained 40% of his blood in a single day. Ironically, more people died from blood loss than from their actual diseases. They used urine as an antiseptic because they thought fresh urine was sterile. Even worse, animal excrement was considered powerful medicine. Crocodile dung for contraception in ancient Egypt. Mouse brains were crushed up for toothaches. Crushed pearls for depression. Talk about expensive therapy. Mercury for syphilis, which actually killed patients faster than the disease. They performed trepanation for mental illness too. Why? Because they literally believed demons lived inside people's heads. The hole would let the demons escape. Imagine tiny demons flying out of your skull like escaping prisoners. Some doctors used rusty tools because they thought rust prevented infection. In reality, this caused tetanus and killed even more people. Surprisingly, maggot therapy was actually smart. Maggots only eat dead flesh, leaving healthy tissue alone. We still use this treatment in modern medicine today. So how did anyone survive these brutal conditions? Most people died by age 30 to 35. Imagine that being old age. Half of all babies died before their first birthday. Only the absolute strongest, toughest people survived to adulthood. It was natural selection in its rawest form. Those who lived became incredibly tough, like human tanks. Survivors developed almost superhuman endurance and pain tolerance. Modern medicine is truly a miracle when you think about it. Antibiotics alone save millions of lives every single year. Anesthesia transforms surgery from torture into healing. Vaccines have completely eliminated diseases that killed millions. We now live 2 to 3 times longer than our ancestors. So next time you visit your doctor or dentist, appreciate them. They're literally lifesavers, pulling us back from the brink of death. Thanks for watching this journey through medical history. If this shocked you, subscribe for more mind-blowing historical content. And tell me in the comments, which ancient practice shocked you the most?